Tired of dealing with annoying flies, fruit flies, and gnats in your home? The Zevo Flying Insect Trap is your ultimate solution. Don't wait. Check out the link in the video description now to get your Zevo Flying Insect Trap on Amazon and enjoy a bug-free home today.
John Stamos and his former Full House co-star Dave Coulier took time out to remember their late friend and colleague Bob Saget during an episode of the Full House Rewind podcast. While they told a number of stories and anecdotes about the comedian and actor during their time on the iconic sitcom, the duo didn't shy away from the emotionally tough subject of death, and in particular, the loss of Bob Saget in January 2022. "We're still processing the loss of him," Stamos said with obvious emotion to his voice, for which Coulier, who played Joey Gladstone during Full House 8-season run, responded, "It's left a huge void in our lives. We dedicated the first episode of Full House Rewind to Bob." Stamos, 60, talked about how Saget, who played Danny Tanner on Full House, didn't fully understand or gauge the depth of how much people loved and respected him, including friends, family and fans. "The saddest part for me is that he didn't know how loved he was," the man behind the Jesse Katsopoulos character said of his pal. "I mean, when he died it was like a tsunami of love. I'm not being funny, but I don't even remember a person before Bob getting that much attention when they passed, maybe Princess Diana." Stamos continued, "And that's the sad part because he was very hard on himself, as you know," before adding, "And we talk about him being an egomaniac, he wasn't, but he had to puff himself up because he felt so bad about himself." The former General Hospital actor again reiterated Saget's ignorance to the love the world had for him. "He didn't realize how brilliant he was or realize how loved he was," he shared. "I'd like to think of him as still up there on stage killing it and people laughing." Stamos then recalled the old phrase, "Tomorrow's never promised," that Saget used to tell him over the course of their friendship that dates back to 1980s. "Here's the lesson from him, and you know this," he told Coulier. "He never left anything on the table. He always said, 'I love you. I care about you. I'm proud of you. You're my brother.' Tomorrow's never promised, folks. I learned from Bob that tomorrow's not promised," Stamos wrote in his memoir, "If You Would Have Told Me," 2023. Live every moment to the fullest and tell everybody that you care about them. During their podcast chat, Stamos recalled a story from Saget's memoir Dirty Daddy, The Chronicles of a Family Man Turned Filthy Comedian, which originally dropped in May 2014. "The night Saget died, I put on his audio tape and it gave me such comfort. I don't know why. I listened to it every night when I went to sleep." From there, he began to reminisce about one particular story that he thought maybe he had misheard on the audio version of his memoir. "One morning I woke up and I was like, did he say, in his book, did he say he hit his head and that's how he died?" He remembered pondering at that time after his death. "And I'm like, nah, that couldn't be. And I went back to it," and he talks, as a joke, about, "I would hit my head and call TMZ, and say, I'm dying." He was like that, Stamos said of his late friend and former colleague who was 65 years old when he passed away on January 9, 2022. The beloved comedian and actor was found dead in his room at the Ritz-Carlton in Williamsburg near Orange County, Florida around 4 p.m. Eastern Time that fateful day. He had just performed his stand-up show in Ponte Vedra Beach the previous evening and seemingly had not left his room since going to sleep for the night. An autopsy report released a month after his passing found that Saget had suffered blunt head trauma to the back of his head, most likely from an unwitnessed fall that set off a subdural hematoma in his sleep. Stamos was driving with his then 5-year-old son Billy when his publicist Matt Polk called to ask if he had heard from the Grammy-nominated comedian after TMZ claimed several sources said he was dead. Full House co-star Candace Cameron Bure then reached out after receiving a weird DM about his death, and that's when Saget's wife Kelly Rizzo confirmed the tragic news to Stamos in a phone call. "When I switch callers over to Kelly, all I hear is a wailing scream. I hit the ground in the parking lot and my knee slammed down on the asphalt." New. The two-time Primetime Emmy nominee wrote in his memoir, If You Would Have Told Me, 2023. In his last ever post on his Instagram page on